a Kamasan, it's a B160 size 14. Thread I'm going to be using just the Uni thread 80 in black. Now just start at the eye. Just put down a layer of thread along the shank. Stop it whenever you're in line with the barb of the hook. The tail, we're just using a Krystal flash, a Pearl Krystal flash. In this case, just 3 strands. Just going to tie it on and pull it into the full length of the body. Looking for a couple of turns at least to hold it. And then trim it the full length of the shank or length of the hook, whatever you like. Just about there. Now for the hackle, I'm going to be using, this is a Grizzle hackle. Now when I select the Grizzle hackle for the gnat, I like more black than white. I like to make sure that's black. Now this is a micro barb, a mate's micro barb. Length of the fibre, just slightly, if you look at the stem, just slightly longer than the bend of the gape of the hook. Now you could remove these fine fibres at the bottom of the stem and then tie it in, or what I like to do, so I've always done this, is basically tie it on, full length of the body, couple of turns with the top of the hackle, the front of the hackle on top. If you lift this up, you'll see it's left some fibres behind, mixed into the pearl, and that's what I like to have. Body can be the thread, the black thread itself. It can be seal's fur or dubbing or what, or basically what I like. This is dyed Peacock Herl dyed black. This is the one that I found worked best for me. A couple of strands. All I'm going to do is line up the ends. Again, tie it in the full length of the body. So come round. At this point I like to wax the thread and then make sure these ends are all tied in and everything's nice and tidy all the way up. Stop it round about a mil or so from the eye. Now the Peacock Herl is the weakest fibre, so what I do is wind this towards myself and then wind the hackle the normal way, meaning the same way I wind my thread, which will catch in more of the body and hold it a bit better. And then as I say, just form the body with the herl. Just build it up. Now what you're using, the Grizzle hackle does, it suspends this body in the surface film. When these are coming off, the gnats are about, it's usually quite bright, and if they're on the water, is because they are a terrestrial fly. They get blown on because they're not the world's best flyers. They're quite a heavy wee fly for the size of them, and especially when they're mating as well. You get the wee double midge, a wee gnat, sorry, that gets blown on, and the fish just love them. They go crazy for them. And then wind your hackle up. Now, basically I don't mind what way the hackle goes. The fish don't mind. The fly will keep catching, so just wind it up. Round about maybe 5 times or so. Cross your thread. Trim away. You've got wax on my thread. Single fibre there. Just pull that back. Just tidying up the head. And then wet finish. And there we are. Put a tiny bit of varnish on there and it's finished. And that's the gnat. Now, when I start fishing the fly, I'll fish it as it is first, meaning don't do anything to it. And I use a muslin or a silicone cream that basically I rub onto the fibres. And what I'll tend to do is lift the under fibre, the fibres underneath up onto the top using the silicone, and that gives you a good impression on the surface. Now when the light's right, all the fish see is this black. So, I mean, and the other good fly to tie like this would be the Dung, or which I tie much, they just change the body to a golden olive, and it works extremely well. I'll show you this one. So if you imagine that being the gnat pattern, and this one being, you could probably go a size bigger. the hook I'm using for the cow dung is, or coo dung as we would say. I'm going to just the same, the B160, but this case a size 12. You could go a size 10 because it is quite a big fly. Thread I'm just going to use a uni thread in orange. Let's just start at the eye. Just run the thread down. And I'm going to tie it much the same as the Griffiths Gnat. I'm going to put a pearly tail on it. Just grab these same fibres, 3 is plenty. Tie on top. Now use a Grizzle again. Don't use a dyed hackle. I use the larger, just a larger fibre, Grizzle cock hackle. In this case a saddle. And again, I've bared the stem, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to tie it straight on, which will give like some tail fibres into the flash. And really what I should have done was trim that first. Just look at the length. Probably the length of the shank, just the same again. Now this time, but I'm going to tidy up first and make it a wee bit tighter because it's a bigger fly. And the way back down, I'm going to tie in. Now this is a light ginger, or bleached and dyed peacock herl. But I'm going to mix it with a yellow. These are quite fine, so I'm going to take a couple of strands of each. So, and then tie them in together. It's always pays to, probably in the way back, well I'm the way back down, I'm going to tie these both in. And it's a nice mix of ginger and the yellow. Just going to line up the ends. Just off at the side. And then pull it in so it's full length of the body and take your thread down, back up. And wind them all together and wind them the opposite way you wind your thread. Oops. Just go back, just go at the point of the hook there. Nice and tight. Now what I'm going to do slightly for strength, and I'm going to come across, put the herl in front, and do a turn, and a turn onto the hook, do the same again. And then trim that away. And a couple more turns, make sure you wax your thread at this point. There you go. And then you want to bring your hackle up through, nice and tight. Now don't be shy with the number of turns. That's plenty, that's about probably 6 or 7 turns for this size of fly. And again with the head, don't worry about the head, you want a nice bright head, and the orange works. Just trim away fibres. Again I'm just going to wax my thread. I'm just going to hold these fibres back, I'm not pulling them back, they're going to stay back, I'm just holding them back so I can put some turns of thread in. And again, come in and tie off. Come away your thread, and there we are. And that's basically the same type of fly but tied as a cow dung. As I say, I remember especially one night there was absolutely hundreds of these on the water. Tried everything, hoppers, tried it, well you name it. And I had these in my box. And geez, every fish I cast to attain it, so it is a good pattern to have. Now all I'm going to do is just put a wee tiny bit of varnish all the way around. Oh. Catch the fibres with it, just clean it off with your fingers, it'll be fine. And then it's just a matter of making sure the eye is nice and clean. And there we go. And that's basically, there's your Griffiths Gnat, pearly tailed version. And that's a cow dung version. You could use a fur on the body, you could use a golden olive, or a yellow, or a Invictor yellow, which is a good colour. But that's the peacock herl. And I say, another good pattern to have in your box. And again, you can, as you put on your kink, or your, I like a silicone, I usually just bring up the fibres to give it a better impression on the top. Or if you want, you can trim away underneath. It's up to yourself. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. And that's the cow dung.